Period. Okay, Jeff Probst. John Buckley Probst.
Karen, what do you call me?
You are Father John Jeff Jigsaw Probst Buckley.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Let
People always shout, there goes
Hold on.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. John.
Okay. 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 1 second. Welcome to Tribal Council number 12? 12. Number 12 of the season. Let me make sure everyone in the Discord server knows that it's happening. And I'm sure they love to see this message. So boom, boom. Now they know it's happening. All right. So, I will start this off with Jake because he was singing a song that was saying a lot in my childhood that drove me up the wall. When it comes to this round, now that we're at final 9 and we're going into 8, we've had some seemingly shocking votes happen already. What's the gauging level of this vote? Is this another like sneaky maneuver vote, or is this going to be that straightforward vote that everyone's been saying is going to happen?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's straightforward. I think you've seen the last 2 rounds how what we thought was a straightforward vote has been anything but that and has been 2 blindsides. So I definitely think a blindside is definitely in the question for sure. I mean, and it's cool because we're all playing hard, which shows that we all want to be here. Some are showing they want to be here more than others, but but I don't know. I think this vote has the potential to be a blindside. I think it has the potential to be a mix of in between. I don't think it's straightforward though. If I'm included on the right plan, so it's all leaning on contingent on that because I could very well not be. But I'm going with what I've heard, so that's where I'm at.
Nam, are you back to your thing or are you still on the wings?
I stayed.
Okay. So Jake mentioned a quote saying, or what he said was, if I'm on the right plan. Obviously, as a survivor, at this point, you have 9 individual people with 9 individual minds. So what's the likelihood that there's multiple plans floating right now? And what do you,
110%.
and what do you
Everyone
do
thinks
to
that
make
they
sure
know.
it works for you? What do you do to make sure it works for you?
Pray, mostly. But I think that at the end of the day, like, we're all playing an individual game at this point, and we know that. So even when we have a group consensus, like, one thing that I think has been really helpful is knowing why people are voting with me if we are voting together, because we know it's an individual game. So if you just tell me I'll agree with whatever you say, I think you're lying in my face. So at this point, I think a lot of it's kind of coming down to like, what relationships have you built? Trying to reinforce those, being mindful of the relationships that it's likely other people have built, and just trying to kind of keep that in mind as we make each vote.
Right. Jeremy, you have immunity this round. And you've had immunity before. Does having that individual immunity change your mindset on how you're able to approach that specific vote?
Um, it definitely can because I mean, for me, I feel like I can be more honest with people about what I'm thinking because I don't have to risk it coming back on me, which I think is always the fear when you're going to tribal and you're trying to throw out a name is you don't want to throw out the wrong name and it end up landing back on you. So I think from that aspect, it can change your mentality, but at the same time, it easily could have been me tonight. And if I didn't have this necklace, I could be going home and I will never know that because I have the necklace. So it's kind of a catch 22 in that I can be more honest with people, but it also gives me less of a clear idea of where the tribe will be moving next.
Fair. Alex. So we saw last round there was no ghost vote. So you can kind of infer where one vote is going. Does that raise suspicions that that could influence some people?
Um,
I think there's a lot to consider because there wasn't a ghost vote this last time. That means that there's potentially two this go around, depending on where Adams was at. For me, I'm working with the people that are here. Like I am operating on their votes and how they are thinking, because those are the ones that I can change and influence. I can't do anything about changing the mindset of the person that was voted out and where they cast their vote. So it's something stagnant, whereas the rest of us here are ever changing. So it hasn't really affected my opinion on where I'm going. It hasn't brought me much influence of like, oh, I think there's gonna be a ghost vote there, might as well charge that way. Because that might not be the best thing for my game. Topher, let's discuss how you operate at this point in the game. Is there ever a final nine survivor? Is it ever beneficial to you to be upfront with the person that you're voting off, that you're voting them out?
I think that, well, first off, I would like to say this. The vote tonight is not going to be Madeline. It will never be Madeline. So if anybody ever were to tell me the vote is Madeline, I will not believe you. And I will know that I am about to be blindsided. That is my MO on that. So I hope Madeline is doing okay. I hope that she's getting all of the help that she needs in her life. And we pray for her. But like, what are you doing? Yeah, I mean, I think there are benefits to telling somebody that they are the vote. I think depending on when you tell them, it gives them plenty of opportunity to do something different. And I think also like it all depends on like, is there enough of a consensus for the vote to be what it's going to be? Or is it going to end up going in a different direction? Like it's really like, so to answer your question, it's so circumstantial as to whether or not it benefits somebody. Is there an idol at play? You tell somebody, hey, by the way, the vote is you, and then they have an idol. We don't know where the hidden idol was. It's been several rounds. It very easily could have been found. So there is a lot at stake. But yeah, I think that when you start looking at how does this vote help me in the next couple of votes, granted, you have to get there to be able to make it. But like oftentimes, when you're looking at how the game is going to play out, you can either A, play it round by round, or B, you can try to play a couple of rounds at a time and see how it stands. So for me right now, I think that playing it a couple of rounds at a time, whilst also being adaptable to the way that the game is going right now, is the way that it's going. So that is the answer to the question that you did not ask.
Noted. I love that. Nathan, to round us out here, Topher talked a lot about how you put the game in perspective in terms of, are you playing like in the now, or are you playing to set yourself up? Obviously, he can't speak. Okay, well, can you type? Okay. So I'm just going to ask this to the group. And if anyone wants to answer, they can answer. And if not, we'll stare at each other and smile. If we are, if you're playing the game at this point, you obviously have to get to the end somehow. So at what point do you switch your gameplay from playing in the moment to setting yourself up to make it to FTC?
I just don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
I was gonna say, I think it just kind of needs a little more, like, for me, it's about consistency in a game where there hasn't been. And so like it's hard for me, like you have to play in the moment because you don't know what your end game is looking like at the moment. And so like that's where my mindset is, at least with the amount of craziness that's gone on these last few rounds.
some stability needs to happen before I can even think of those options being a possibility.
Well, I think that this is going to shape up to be a very fun stretch to the end then. We're playing it round by round. With that being said, we have to find out how this round ends. So it is now 10:19. So you're going to have until 10:22 to lock in your votes, and then we will move forward.
Now, as always, is the time for shout outs. Let's hear about your day, who you love.
I would like to give a shout out to my prod chat folks again. Casey, Rodney, Allison, y'all are lovely people. So thank you very much.
I would like to shout out my beautiful wife, Jennifer, who has been along with me for this whole ride, for better or for worse. As well as a shout out to Crispy and Seb, the two other beautiful souls inside of my production squad.
Okay. Well, you stole my thunder a little, Topher, but that's fine. I was gonna shout out my podcast also because I think I've only done that once this season. But Crispy is also my podcast. So I guess double shout out to Crispy, but also shout out to Rose and my beautiful partner Mac.
Well, since we're shouting out Crispy, Crispy's also in my project, so shout out to Crispy.
Okay, so Crispy's a prod chat whore. That's what we figured out here.
Crispy is simply on production.
Crispy knows more about this game than I do right now. What?
And my other podcast, Hudson, and of course Trevor. And also shout out to all those tribals where John Buckley actually asked me a question, and not this one where he didn't.
Oh. I also peeped that and wasn't sure why.
Thinking about how you could have answered that question.
It was a really ugly question.
Okay, well, I'll ask you a question right now. I'll pause it down. How does it feel living with somebody that won this game?
You know what? That makes me even more nervous to play this game because he has so many thoughts, and the thing is, me and Trevor don't play the same. He's like so intense, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm trying to have a good time.
He yelled at me for something I did in a game like 2 years ago.
Yeah, he does that.
Like last week. So
yeah, he never forgets.
No, he does not.
I want to do my shout outs now. Shout out to my prod guest, Crispy. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, but also shout out, while it's there, I'll say shout out to Crispy for being a prod chat fave, I guess. And shout out to Haley and Daniel, who haven't said a word in my prod chat in forever. I don't get the support, but I love them anyways.
All right. I do have the votes tonight. Obviously, Madeline, due to the twist, does not have a vote. And we have one ghost vote in the urn tonight. So we have 9 votes. If anyone has an idol or an advantage and wants to play it, now would be the time to do it. Okay. Once the votes are read, decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council immediately. First vote, Kira. Jake. One vote Kira, one vote Jake. Nathan. One vote Kira, one vote Jake, one vote Nathan. Jake. 2 votes Jake. Nathan. That's 2 votes Jake, 2 votes Nathan, 1 vote Kira. Nathan. That's 3 votes Nathan, 2 votes Jake, 1 vote Kira. Nathan. That's 4 votes Nathan, 2 votes Jake, 1 vote Kira. 12th person voted out, 3rd member of our jury, Nathan. That's 5. That is enough. Nathan, if you have anything you would like to say, now would be the time to do so.
I mean, that's fine. I don't really got nothing else to say. I mean, to be honest, a lot of people just didn't bother communicating with me, and a lot of people wanted to act like they were victims in this whole competition. That's fine. Y'all think you're doing a big one. I don't really got nothing else to say. I've had a great game. Thanks to the people that played with me, and that's all there is to it.
Thanks for playing, Nathan.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the jury. Right. Down to 8. Ooh, cool. Yay. I'm stopping the stream.